governorship elections, says the National Security Advisor Babagana Mungono. And as tempo for the 2023 presidency increases, a South-South group canvasses support for Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi. This is Plus Politics, and I am Mary Anna Combs. The National Security Advisor Babagana Mungono has warned individuals intending to cause conflict to behave themselves as the governorship elections in Anambra State draws close. He said the law enforcement agencies will not sit by idly and allow innocent people be terrorized, adding that anyone who wants to disrupt the process will be brought to book. He added that all security agencies have been told to conduct themselves well and exhibit the highest level of professionalism and restraint and operate within the confines of the law and not be in any way or act in any way that will jeopardize the exercise. Well, joining us to discuss this and more is Francis Chilaka, a political affairs analyst, and Terence Kwanum, a security expert. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you, Marianne.
All right. I'm going to start with you, Francis. It's very interesting. Yes, we know the premise of this conversation is the security threat and, of course, the need for there to be free, fair, credible elections devoid of any violence of any kind. But let's start by looking at the reasons why federal government seems to be very interested in Anambra State. We remember where there was an insinuation or a statement that was made by the AGF that was termed referred to by a lot of people as out of turn when he somewhat said that there might just be a state of emergency declared in Anambra, which also got reactions from even the governor and other political parties, including the PDP and APGA. Why do you think that the federal government is so interested in the Anambra elections? I mean, other than the fact that there's an APC candidate in that election, what is responsible for all of the threats that's been coming? Of course, we know that IPOB has its own issues and the sit-at-home order, but is it that serious and needs the federal government's intervention?
Well, I think first and first is that the issue playing out in Anambra State, just as what's been playing out in the entire southeastern state, is not an issue for threat by anyone in government. It's an issue that calls for dialogue. And that is an avenue the government is not exploring. The government should explore a dialogue at this point in time. If you're issuing threat, IPOC, for instance, is saying, sit at home. And if all the citizens or the indigenous, everybody in Anambra State decides to sit at home, then there will be an election. So the point is that I think that it is politically motivated. The federal government, the APC-led government is, as far as I'm concerned, they want to take over Anambra State at all costs. And that is why they are not looking at the issues on the ground, the issues of security threats. You can't be calling for an election in an environment that has been threatened by, security and unknown gunmen over a period of time. But that's
why they came up with the idea, I guess, of saying we might just have to call for a state of emergency because we think that things are getting out of hand. And you're also somewhat saying that, well, you can't be calling for elections if there's insecurity. So the government may have been right when they were, saying let's have a state of emergency. Maybe that might quell the situation. I'm just saying.
The question we should be asking this government is what steps have they taken to unveil the so-called unknown gunmen that has been terrorizing the entire southeastern states? That's the first question that the government should answer us. Who are these unknown gunmen? And how come that the unknown gunmen that have been terrorizing the entire eastern states operate and disappear before the security operatives will appear? So deploying the entire police force to Anambra State, the question we should ask is, does it solve the security issue in Anambra State? Does it solve the security issue in the entire southeastern states? It does not. So the government should sit down and dialogue and find a way out of this. It is only dialogue. At this point in time, we can't be saying, okay, the government takes this stand, IPOB takes another stand. No, what we need to resolve every crisis that has been, terrorizing the entire country is dialogue. Government must come down from our high heels to sit down with the people and dialogue and find a way forward.
Kwanum, you are a security expert. It's very interesting when Francis says government has to come down from its high horse. And when we say government here, I'm guessing that the state governments also have a role to play, because this is happening in their backyards, literally happening right before them. It's happening every day, whether it be in Imo, whether it be in Anambra. So if there has to be a dialogue, should that not start with the state governments before we even get to talk about the federal government?
It's quite interesting that the situation in Anambra has taken this turn. It's for all of us to learn from it, and then we should be able to know how to handle this situation, because what we are dealing with today is the creation of this government. And in Nnamdi Kanu today is the creation of the Buhari government, and they have mishandled the whole situation to the stage we are today. And but for this particular election, and we are receiving all these threats, that I think those number of police people to go and be involved in the civic duty alone will intimidate the good people of Anambra State to be scared of coming out to perform their civic duty. And two, I don't understand the level of dialogue that the federal government have had with the stakeholders of Anambra, and to a large extent the Southeast, and that it has gotten to the level of a threat. And so for every security situation, there's every need to consult the stakeholders that are on ground to be able to proffer solutions based on the recommendations they will give you, because they are the locals living there, and they are the ones that know exactly what is happening on ground. And so they should be able to give you the right intel you are going to use to be able to end those crises. And so we expected them to have ensued in the dialogue with the stakeholders to avoid this level of threat and this level of
Mr. Kwanum, are you still there? I think we lost his connection. But let me come to you, Francis. Again, when he talks about intel, I remember speaking with the Information Commissioner in Anambra State yesterday about, the rumors of the elections not holding, IPOB saying that they're declaring a sit at home. IPOB has also come out to say that they're not saying nobody should go out to vote, but if you want to go out and vote, go ahead. But they themselves would be sitting at home. And he did say that the atmosphere that seems tense is being stirred up by the opposition, and that they're trying to make the situation look bad, even though it may not be as bad as it seems. But for someone who's from the Southeast, I do not know when was the last time you visited the Southeast, but is it as bad as you see or you?
It's no longer an issue of IPOB asking people to sit at home. My mother just came back from the East, and she told me clearly. She said, Mondays everybody sits at home. You don't need anybody to tell you to sit at home. In other words, what we have playing out in the Southeast, which is what has played out even in the Northeast, where you have Boko Haram and all of that. The difference between them and IPOB is the fact that Boko Haram and the bandits are, going about killing and all of that. But the Southeast, they are saying sit at home. And the sit at home is now no longer being enforced by force. The people on their own are beginning to sit at home. And then if you look at it, with all the number of military personnel, police personnel that is being deployed to Anambra State, who do you think would want to come out to go and vote? People will be more scared because you're creating more fear than, dousing the situation. So rolling out all the policemen and all of that to Anambra State is still not the solution. It is not the solution, because when you put so many policemen and security agencies on the street, in other words, you are helping IPOB to even achieve its sit-at-home instructions, because people will be so scared to come out to vote. So it's not a matter of whether it is that test or not. The truth of
more about security, but back to, on the mentalities of the voters so that they would be scared and stay at home. Some other people are saying, well, this should also push people to come out on election day to protect their votes. Where do you stand?
Well, you and I know that the National Orientation Agency and INEC have not done, they've not done so well in educating the Nigerian people when it comes to voting and carrying out their civic rights. They have not done well at all. And with what has happened in the last few months in the Southeast, a lot of people are not interested in voting. A lot of people are not. And as such, a lot of people don't even have voters card. Even when INEC said they were, going through the process of, getting new people to register and validate their voters card, how many people really came out? So we need voters education in Nigeria. It is very important, not only for the Southeast, not only for Anambra election. Unfortunately, everybody goes to sleep after the elections. It shouldn't be like that. We should have a situation where after the elections, you and I, we've seen severally what has happened in some elections where in some states where people claim this is who we voted for. And then the courts will decide who becomes, the person that takes over.
But,
so
I have a different perspective, and you might not agree with it. But if we keep saying that our votes don't count, how come the politicians are interested in buying it if it doesn't count?
There are people who believe that it doesn't count, and a lot of Nigerians believe that. A lot of Nigerians believe that let us just get the money we need from the politicians at this point in time and go home. But I keep telling Nigerians, when you collect 5,000 naira, two model of rights and all of that from the politician, you have mortgaged your conscience for the next 4 years. And that is why it is difficult for us to ask them to be accountable, to be transparent, and to give us good governance.
Okay.
So we need to look at our electoral laws. It brings us back to our electoral laws. We need to look at our electoral laws. We need to make governance unattractive. We need to create a situation where if I'm going to contest for an election, I must not be expected to spend millions in order to win. We need to draw a line. And this is what the present government promised Nigerians when they came to power, that they were going to give us an electoral law that will satisfy the Nigerian people. This is 2021. We do not have that.
I really don't want to go into that because, again, who are the people who are responsible in drawing out these laws? The same politicians. So let's put a pin there. Let me go to Kwanum. Kwanum, the full weight of the police is actually in Anambra State. Of course, we will be seeing a lot of deployment, as you had spoken of earlier on. But the issue of the case of the unknown gunmen is also an elephant in the room. If these unknown gunmen were to surface, or if the issue of these unknown gunmen are not dealt with, because again, there have been times in the past where these unknown gunmen...
It's quite sad that today in Nigeria, the government, the sovereign state, will be free to come out and the Southeast. The might you put on them, you don't use the same commiserate measure in the north where it is happening and everybody is seeing and everybody's life is in danger. And so everybody in the Southeast feels that what you are disturbed. And so it becomes a challenge that whatever solution you're bringing to solve a security challenge to a very sensitive geopolitical region like the Southeast in this country, the citizens are not believing it. It means that the solution is not going to come at all, if possible, not in good time. Now you have an election at hand. There was every need for you to come out, and today they are forcing the people of Anambra State to come out and perform a civil duty, and IPOD stays at home and simply gives a directive, and the people are ready to obey them. So it's going to be a huge challenge in Anambra. And we just cross our hands, and we're looking at how they want to achieve this, because I think it's a hurricane task for that exercise to go smoothly for Nigerians to believe in.
Let me come back to you, Francis. Again, most of this is because you understand what's happening in the Southeast. Let's quickly look at the people who are running for these offices on that lineup. These are the four most known contestants for that particular governorship candidate. This will be offering the people of Anambra.
Well, when you put up all the candidates like you've just done, if we were in a country where we believe in justice, where we believe in men that have character, men of honor and proven integrity, anyone that has a case to answer, be it in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria, should not ordinarily be contesting an election. And I think that I feel so sad because over time you notice that the ruling party have always featured candidates, not only in Anambra State, in other states, people with questionable character. And they work clandestinely for such persons to win. And then you ask yourself, how is this man going to deliver good governance to the people? So in other words, it's not about the credibility of the candidate, it's about the political party. And we need to move from that for this country to move forward. We can't keep, because that wants to contest an election.
But INEC is not a prosecutor, neither are they a law enforcement agency. They are an umpire.
I didn't say they should prosecute.
I know, but I'm saying in the terms and reference for candidacy, INEC does not necessarily have the powers to say we're dropping this person because we think he has a case. That's not part of INEC's responsibility, is it?
So long, let me put it this way, so long as we keep shifting the blame, we keep saying it is this body that is responsible, it is this organization that is responsible, we will keep having mediocres in governance. We need to have an electoral process that on its own eliminates you. A system that works independent of whichever party you belong to. We need to have that. You can't tell me that somebody who has a case to answer would bring himself up for election and nobody sees anything about it, nobody says anything about it. Yet other people who are contesting that are in other parties, they are being funded by EFCC on a daily basis. In other words, it means that yes, APC wants to take over Anambra State at all costs. It's not about who is coming up, it's not about the integrity of the persons involved, it's about the political party. We need to move above, beyond that.
By many because many have accused him or pointed fingers at him in terms of land grabbing. So again, let's look at the person of Ifeanyi and the chances that the chance he has. And of course, what exactly would the Anambra people be looking for if he were to be the chosen candidate? Francis.
Are you referring to that to me?
Yes, yes.
Well, I wouldn't be on air to occupying political offices. And I think that the Anambra people are smart enough to know who is more credible and who would be able to give them good governance and develop their state. I leave that to them.
Let's talk about, quickly, Valentine Ezigbo before we talk about the CBN governor. Valentine Ezigbo is a member of the People's Democratic Party, and many have said that, well, he might have the support of the former vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former governor of the state, Peter Obi. Do you as an analyst see the powers of the PDP strong enough in this election? Do they bring a heavy weight to this battle, or is he as strong a candidate as the others who he's going head to head with?
Well, PDP has not redeemed this image. Let us put it as it is. As a political party, it has not. It still has a lot of laundering to do, image laundering. PDP owes the Nigerian people an apology, which they have not tendered. Until they do that.
Finally, Charles Chukwuma Soludo, who is former central bank governor, became the governor. He worked hand in hand with the governor and Uba to get Obiano into office. And there was a gentleman's agreement that at different points, these men will become governors of the state. How do we see this play out?
Well, you see, this is what's going to play out on the election day. It's actually going to be between two political parties. You can note it down. It's going to be between APC and APGA. It's not about the candidates anymore. It's going to be between APC and APGA. And I know that when it comes to that, I believe that APGA will take the day. I believe that Charles Soludo has what it takes in this 21st century. He has what it takes to, carry on with the development of Anambra State. I'm not a fan of his, but I just believe that yes, his antecedent speaks for him.
But he's a first timer, so how are you so certain that he'll be able to do it? He's never really been a career politician.
You see, you look at what somebody has done in the past and what lies ahead, and you'll be able to know if he has the capacity to do that. I strongly believe that Charles Soludo will do wonders in Anambra State.
All right. And finally, to handle security come that day.
They shouldn't go there in the name of election and escalate more crisis for us in the southeast. Anambra is one of the commercial centers of this country and should be treated with kid gloves, because we have a lot to lose if there is spring of crisis from that area, because any provocation in that area at the moment will bring crisis. So the deployment has been done. If I had the opportunity for my opinion to be heard, I think they would have sought other means of peace, and normal elections would have gone out, because very sensitive groups have come out publicly to offer what would have been solutions to the issues in the southeast, like Ohaneze and the likes of them. And the presidency have ignored them, so they have gone to the level of show of force. But the uniformed men that are there should know that it is the Nigerian people that pay them. They should be professional in what they are doing and in service to their fatherland. And so we urge them to be professional, and that's all I can say for now.
Well, thank you very much. Terence Kwanum is a security expert, and of course Francis Chilaka is a political affairs analyst. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for speaking with us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for staying with us. We will take a short break, because coming on next on Plus Politics, a group in Rivers State wants Rotimi Amechi to continue
maritime. The Master this week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Statutorily mandated to ensure that there is regulation and promotion of matters affecting our waters. The Master bears responsibility for search and rescue, shipping development, and ship registration.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on this channel.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Any other agency for that matter, to monitor the WhatsApp conversations of Nigerians. And it's basically just to eavesdrop on phone calls and SMSs and other things that would go on the phones of private individuals, which is why we say it's unlawful. Okay. And if at all there was to be any law, that law still has to conform to the rights granted under the Constitution. And of course, the Constitution being the supreme law of the land, if any law conflicts with the Constitution, that is what the law says.
Now, the bandits that came and attacked those people in the market in Sokoto, I understood that there are more than 200 bandits. Where were they coming from? What manner of policing system are we using in this country in order to create a state of security? What are we really protecting lives and property, which I know is the primary responsibility of government?
I want to ask, are there really manipulations in the PDP? Is there the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob at play in the People's Democratic Party? Being that there are so many strongmen and of course different interests and many followers. Could that also be the reason why you said that this has never happened before in terms of when a tenure should expire and when the convention should happen? This is the first of its kind. Is this not in any way laying some, or rather giving credence to what your ousted chairman is making reference to?
Okay, the best way to answer it is that what we are playing in politics, what we are doing in PDP is pure politics. You agree with me that there are interests, personal interests and group interests, either present or in the future, that is towards 2023. And these interests are playing out. Nobody is neutral. Everybody has one interest or the other in the candidate or in what goes on. So what we are doing is not manipulation, it's pure politics.
What even became more surprising to some of us was the faulty attempt by the Nigerian security services and the government in general.
Lai Mohammed, the Honorable Minister of Information. The community is listening. You know, the way you come to the UK, you come to America before and just walk on the street, Nigerians will stop you on the streets of London and question you. As a Nigerian minister, it's not the same thing anymore. So something has changed. And one thing about change is a process, and process takes time.
Well, one of the problems we have in this country, there is a lot of wastage is still inside our numbers. We don't have that much money. The little we have us.
A group, the National Coordinator of Frontier for Peace and Unity, has canvassed support for the presidential. Amechi is a former two-term governor of Rivers State and has not officially, declared interest in contesting for the presidential office in the next general election. The group stated that the youths have agreed that the next governor should emerge from a riverine area, particularly of the Kalabari extraction. Well, joining us to discuss this is Enefa George Real. He's the chairman of Rivers State Civil Society Organizations interested in running for presidency. We obviously know that there are many people who are interested in running for the presidency in the All Progressive.
And as governor of Rivers State for 7 years, 7 months after the Supreme Court judgment of October 25, 2007, and then double as Governors Forum chairman. And then again, furthermore, as Honorable Minister for Transportation since 2015 November, he is one of those shining lights of this administration. And he has the drive, he has the vision, he has the impetus, he has the presence of mind, he has the health, he has the age, he has exposure inside to give Nigeria the leadership it deserves. So why not? I kind of agree with those who are arguing to run because we must move forward and consolidate on the Buhari years.
Because the person has been a two-time governor and has led the Governors Forum, now a minister, does that really qualify the person to lead a nation?
Well, Miriam, I mentioned national offices he held while he was speaker or was governor and now as a minister. Is in this dispensation probably one of the most exposed Nigerians to the statistics of the Federation. He's been in this democracy from the First Republic consistently, so he will know the issues. And do not forget, as Director General of Buhari's campaign for 2 times, he has run the race and he knows what should be done or what should be fixed. He's not going to come to the job as a learner. He's not going to come to the job to start to learn. He will hit the ground running if he decides to run, and Nigerians give him their support. What should be paramount to us now is the parameters for judging who should become candidate for the office of president post the Buhari years.
Okay.
We need somebody who's vibrant, himself believes in the paradigm shift post his years.
Are you insinuating that the minister is young in the term of not too young to run? Because if I remember, that was an opening for young people to come onto the platform, not necessarily people the
hurdles that political parties put before aspirants who are discouraged on account of maybe cost of funds and all that are set aside. But basically, I'm simply applying that principle that this administration cleared the roads for young people to run. It presupposes that the president himself believes that going forward, that young dynamism should come into play in governance. And as we speak here, except for the fashionables of this world, no one, and I say with all modesty, no one in the current position best fits the bill than Rotimi Chibika-Mechi.
All right, I'll come back to you with more questions. NFI, you are of the civil society and the office of the presidency in the APC. Does the former governor stand a chance from your perspective?
Those elections are in Nigeria. And to go back to your question, which is that, Rotimi Chibika-Mechi, does he have what it takes? For me, I think we just put the cat out and let's see. Rotimi Chibika-Mechi is serving a president who told us that when he comes in, he's going to fix this country. One of the biggest campaigns. He was the DG of that campaign. And of course, I don't need to, my opinion is that the president has failed woefully campaign. And to narrow it down to him specifically, the president is serving under wants to treat himself. And of course, you know that if you complete the number of days the president has taken of the country, it is almost half of the number of days that he has actually sits in Nigeria to serve this country, that have given him a job for 8 years. But so now to a country arranged and connected by other politicians in their own place. For 8 years he was governor. He wanted to treat culture. What we have is just.
But the governor might lay claim to the Songhai farms and say that that's something that he has as a legacy. Even though I do not know if we can point to that today. I don't know if the Wike government has continued to enlarge the Songhai farms.
Well, you know, my problem is that the current governor, for whatever it is worth, don't hate investment. in this, as in, I don't know his reason, but from the facts before us, the current government hates heavy investment on any of the industries. Mention anyone. There's almost none. But you see, and that is why the Songhai farm and the Buguma fish farm appears as, you know, when someone fails abysmally, the person who did a bit, if you have a range of 1 to 10, and someone did 2 over 10, which is pure failure, and the next person who came did not do anything at all, the man who had done 2 will not look like a golden fish or a leading light. Ordinarily, in terms of even agricultural investment or even other major investments, in terms of IT and what have you, this so-called, according to my colleague in the studio, modern candidate that wants to give us modernity. You not invest in IT. In the 21st century, nobody's even talking about oil and gas anymore. We talk about investment on IT, talk about commerce. What trade and investment did he do in real estate? What major investment did in agriculture? The soil farm in this time was shooting with a lot of crisis. In fact, I don't want to.
You're saying that the honourable minister is not fit to run for the office of the presidency.
Yes, and that even most of his contemporaries in the 2 major political problems we have in this country that have been around power since 1999, they should tell us that what they have done. Up to today, there is no state. In Rivers State, they don't have public water. I went to Rwanda. You drink water from anywhere on the road. Public water. We are talking about characters that really have a lot of technology where you can get smoke, use wind, use water, use water.
We're almost out of time. We're almost out of time in FR. So I'm just going to quickly. So wait, can you hear me?
I think in FR is one of the problems I have. The civil society groups think, how could a man come on air and say, from 1999 to now, nobody's qualified to run office? Where are you going to put that experience to? When they throw them out, where are you going to start from? And I would put NFI in the know that Dr. John Kaide Fayemi.
Are you still there, Sogweye? Oh, I think we have a problem with that connection. Thank you, gentlemen. We have to go. Well, thank you, everybody, for staying with us. We appreciate your thoughts and your comments. Don't forget, we want to hear from you on our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. But before we go, let's take a break and see what Nigerians have to say about Rotimi Amechi running for presidency come 2023. And after that, I'll be saying my goodbyes.
For us to have the next presidency, I really don't think a particular region should be an issue. But if Rotimi Amechi is going for presidency, I believe the man is going to work due to the current thing that he's doing in transportation industry. And he's a man that he has a vision for transportation industry, and you can see the way he's actualizing the dreams. So we saw what he did in Rivers State as well when he was the governor of Rivers State. So if he's contesting for president, I believe that he's going to work. He's a man that let me use the word talk and do.
If I mention want to come out, you can also come out because he's also a Nigerian citizen. Everybody is trying luck. If this was not good, if you don't like this one, everybody should try your own luck. That's all.
Nigeria has been craving for a young president. Considering Amechi's pedigree and what he has achieved in the time past, so I think it will appease Nigerians if we have somebody like him as our president.
Somebody cannot be a mumu. It's good for you to have the action. I just call him a troublemaker. He's the action man.
Well, the only thing that we need to do is just to pray to God to help us to choose. You understand me? All of them are the same. Because even we that we are even interviewing ourselves, as a human being are about to change at any time. Are you getting me? Anybody can get to that position and change. So the only thing that we just pray that God should give us a better person. Because the Bible says if the righteous man is on the throne, the masses will enjoy. But if the wicked man is on the throne, will suffer it.
Well, that's it on the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget you can follow us on all our platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can subscribe to our YouTube at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Mary Anna. Come see you tomorrow.
Hello there, my name is Olusegun Shonubi. Here are the highlights of the stories and events that shaped my growing up years. They were indeed memorable, good old days. I was born at Ikeja General Hospital to the family of Alhaji Yunusa Olabisi and Alhaja Sabitiu Aduni Shonubi. My grandfather was the Olisa of Ijebu Ode, who had to abdicate the throne because he wanted to perform Hajj.